So this is following on from the last video about coherence and cohesion. This video now will be focusing on argument essays, one-sided and two-sided, and what we need to do to get good coherence and cohesion throughout our essay, and also focusing on some common mistakes that candidates make in terms of coherence and cohesion. Let's quickly discuss how coherence and cohesion is marked. You did this before, so it should be very easy for you. Can you remember what's in coherence and cohesion? So the first thing is the logical organization of your answer, making sure it's clear to the reader, the examiner, using paragraphs well, linking ideas together between paragraphs. Now cohesion is sequencing, it's linking between paragraphs and within paragraphs and even within sentences. Cohesion, remember, often relates back to the previous ideas or previous noun phrases, and it's about referencing and substitution. So let's come straight away and have a look at this one-sided sample here. Now this is the argument essay, it's the one-sided argument, and the point is that people should not watch TV, they should do active things outside. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now this person disagrees, so we're going to have a look here. What are the problems in terms of this essay? So yes, hopefully you've noticed that it's paragraphing, isn't it? So there's problems with the paragraphing. In the introduction, those first two sentences should have been connected together. You don't separate your paragraphs there. In the second body, the first body paragraph there, maybe the word firstly is missing to signpost and guide the reader through it. It's not really essential though. In the second body paragraph, we have exactly the opposite problem. There should have been a split in this paragraph. So yeah, they really should have split this paragraph in two. They're very different ideas. They're talking about watching TV being social, and then they're talking about watching people learn things. So very, very different ideas. In that situation, split your paragraph. That's fine. Remember, you don't have to have 4 body paragraphs. High-level writing has more than 4 paragraphs usually. Some other little things to notice was some good linking words in the middle and the blue side that are missing. Furthermore, that's all it needed. Now finally, we need to tell the reader that this is the last idea, and we need the words examples of to explain what we are meaning. Now sometimes there's a problem with overusing referencing, so let's just have a look now. We're focusing in on the same question, but we're just going to focus in on the middle here. Now I've changed this a little bit to show you a common problem that students make. What's wrong with that much referencing? The answer is that it can be confusing, and it also shows a lack of language from the student. If we look on the other side, the words that when the candidate's using it and the high-level student's using watching TV, they're just repeating it. Maybe in that situation it would be okay. But the doing this has been changed. Look at that. It's a big complicated noun phrase they're using there, and that's very high-level use of language to explain what they're doing rather than just saying watching TV. Now, talking about this, again, there's a much higher level phrase that they've used there. They're talking about the exact time period the night before. So that's high level cohesion and substitution instead of just using simple referencing. And again, instead of doing this, to start the next paragraph, the candidate has used spending time watching TV, which is again a higher level cohesive device. It's a good substitution for TV. So when you overuse referencing like this, it can cause confusion to the reader as well. This one is sort of okay because the idea of TV is very simple. But in an argument, a two-sided argument essay, if you overuse referencing, it can be very confusing about who or what ideas you're discussing. So don't overuse it. Yes, this one clearly shows that this candidate doesn't have the vocab to create a higher level substitution or to use high level synonyms. Now let's have a look at some good referencing and substitution in the same thing. So have a look there and notice what that is referring back to. So we have the them referring back to animals, and then both points of view is a complicated one. It's referring back to the people that think using animals is okay and that using animals is not okay. Now in the next paragraph, she clearly is saying that this is not her opinion, but then she's also going in and saying the words she's using, the they and the we, are referring back to those people at the start. And again saying that's showing that it's not her opinion. People who believe this is a substitution for that idea as well. And again, good substitution because it also shows the reader it's not her opinion. We, the same as before, the people. And that then this is morally acceptable. Now that this here means using animals. It doesn't mean the people. It means the act of using the animals. Now in the other body paragraph where she starts to give her opinion, she's now very clear and she's saying I do not believe these arguments. So these arguments referring back to what she's just said. The two theys in the middle there are referring to animals. So I firmly believe this is unnecessary. That's again referring back to the idea of using animals. The they in the end there is referring to people. So that's why you have to be careful that she's not overusing referencing because it can be confusing. We're talking about people, we're talking about animals. We've got two groups of people here, people who like animals and people who think it's okay to eat and use animals. So that can be confusing. And again with the this is not the case is referring back to the previous idea as well. So that's all high level substitution referencing. Now, just briefly here, we've got good signposting again. Now, I just want to focus on this because signposting is very important in a two-sided essay. This is something we've practiced and talked about before in task response, but very quickly, let's go over it again because it's so very important in a two-sided essay. So the first thing there, this essay will discuss 2 points of view and give the writer's opinion that it's not acceptable. So it's answering the question and it's telling the reader what's coming. Although it's not my opinion, some people believe. That is telling the reader, okay, in this paragraph, I'm going to describe to you what the other people think, not what I think. So the examiner is very clear that this is not her opinion. Then she says firstly, and then she says furthermore, people who believe this. So that's very clear. This is a second idea and not her idea. Second body paragraph, she switches with the word however, and as a reader, we know that now it's coming to her opinion. And she talks about these arguments previously are not good arguments, and then she's going to say why. So she uses to begin, in addition, finally, very simple referencing, simple linking words there. And using the therefore again, that means the final result. And then to sum up. Okay, so we see that these good signposting words are mostly pointing forward in the essay, whereas referencing refers backwards to previous ideas. Now let's review what we've discussed today about coherence and cohesion. First of all, we looked at an argument essay, a one-sided argument essay, and we looked at some paragraphing problems. And then we looked at an unnecessary split in the introduction. Those paragraphs, sentences should have been together. And then we looked at the opposite problem, where there was a split needed in the second body paragraph. We also looked at some missing linking phrases, these words, firstly, furthermore, finally, examples of. And then we discussed overusing referencing. In terms of a two-sided argument essay, we focused on the importance of good referencing and good substitution. These kinds of words, they, it, these people, this is not the case. Now remember, that is very important in a two-sided essay that we get the referencing right and we don't overuse it because there's two opposite opinions. We then looked at some good signposting that the candidate was using in that final essay. So thank you. Now, in the next series of videos, we'll start to look at lexical resource.